In this video, we'll be showing some tips and tricks and simple troubleshooting when using the Stitch tool. In the 2D and 3D window, we can identify if an edge has been stitched. First, we enable the Stitch tool. In the 2D window, a stitched edge is displayed with the needle head. Note that without the Stitch tool, we can see the stitching by using the stitch icon on the 2D window toolbar. When we hover the mouse over the needle head, a dotted line indicates where the edge is stitched to. If we click the needle head, a solid line is displayed and the stitch measurements are shown on the edges. Now let's go to the 3D window. Here we need to enable the Stitch tool. In the 3D window, a stitch is indicated by the pink needle head. If we select the stitch, the needle head is colored green. If we go into Prepare mode, we can also see the stitch lines, which are the same colors as the needle heads in the 2D window. This makes it easy to identify the stitches. To delete a stitch, we first click on the needle head in either the 2D or 3D window. Then we can either press Delete on our keyboard or go to the context view and click Delete. Once we delete the stitch, the needle head is no longer displayed. If we want to delete multiple stitches, we can do a marquee selection and delete. When stitching a garment, we may accidentally have a stitch going in the wrong direction. Such a stitch would cause issues when we simulate the garment. By clicking the needle head, we can check the stitch direction. It's recommended to also check the stitches in Prepare mode. To change the direction of a stitch, click on the needle head, go to the context view, and click Flip. If we are doing a stitch and the preview of the stitch shows that it is going in the wrong direction, we can quickly fix that. We press and hold the Control key on the keyboard and click on the edge to stitch it. This method flips the stitch direction before you complete it. We can automatically adjust a stitch so that it matches the shortest edge it is on. We click the needle head of the stitch we want to edit, go to the context view and click Match. Another option is to manually adjust the length of a completed stitch. To do that, we click on one end of the stitch line, then drag the end and adjust the stitch to the intended length. If we want to stitch the length to match the length of a short edge, there will be a dot along the line which we can snap to. We can move stitches along the edge of a line they are stitched to by dragging the needle head of a stitch in the 2D window. If we have accidentally selected the wrong edge while doing a single stitch, we can deselect it by clicking on the edge again or by clicking on the background. Let's use these blocks as an example for multi-stitching. In this scenario, we want to stitch these 4 edges to this one edge. If we have accidentally selected the wrong edge while doing a multi-stitch, we can deselect it by clicking on the edge again. If we are stitching and missed or skipped an edge, we don't click on that edge as it would cause the order of the stitches to be incorrect. When doing multi-stitch, we must select the edges in chronological order. To fix this issue, we must first deselect the other stitches or clear and start again. If one of the arrows are in the wrong direction, we do not need to deselect or reselect the other edges. Instead, we put the cursor on the other end of the edge and click to change the arrow direction. Note that we are able to edit the stitch direction, stitching order, and make any changes to the multi-stitch before we click Done. After clicking Done, if the stitching is incorrect, we must delete the stitch and redo the stitch again. Now let's apply these scenarios to a 3D garment. The wrong edge has been selected. Let's fix that. Here, the neckband stitching has missed an edge. Now the stitch is going in the wrong direction. When stitching the garment, we may make mistakes without realizing. It is a good practice to check in the 3D window after stitching. In the 3D window, we can check for obvious mistakes. For example, a stitch going in the wrong direction. We can also check if we have accidentally stitched certain edges together without realizing. In Prepare mode, it is easy to spot such mistakes. Always check the simulated garment for mistakes. Here is an example where there is some puckering. This may be caused by incorrect stitching. We start by identifying the problem area, in this case the sleeve cap. We can then go into the 2D window to analyze the situation. As we can see, there is a small portion of the edge that is not stitched due to a corner point. We can fix this by deleting and restitching it. And those are the stitching tips and tricks that allow you to troubleshoot common scenarios. For more information, visit support.browseware.com.